Now going to start our second part of the presentation, and here I call upon my brother, my friend, the legendary Faiq, to come and talk about the integration process and the effect that it may have on the process, on the whole Afghanistan.
First of all, thank you very much for the organizer of this campaign, particularly not for the city. My name is Faiq. I'm a student in King's University studying politics and history. So I'm a part of this campaign as well. I would like to talk briefly about reconciliation and reintegration process with the Taliban, and whether a reconciliation initiative can be successful or not. Was it a useful mechanism for engaging Taliban to the top, or it was just a political tool in the hand of power brokers? The main objective of this research is to illustrate the Taliban are not an ideological group who fights to implement Islamic law. Rather, they are an economic, political, and ethnocentric group which attempt to safeguard the interests of Al-Qaeda in Pakistan and Afghanistan. The program of reconciliation with the Taliban is a failed scheme and will not lead to peace and prosperity in Afghanistan. Experience has been evident that each time when the issue of negotiation and talk with the Taliban was raised, the group responded with bloodshed, suicide, and assassination. The mother of Burhanuddin Rabbani, the chairman of Afghanistan High Peace Council, is, and as Taliban suicide is a proof that the group has no wish to reconcile. Obviously, engaging Taliban and the future political setup of Afghanistan will increase threats to the security and safety of not only Afghanistan, but also the region, as well as the rest of the world. Therefore, their military defeat remains the only viable option. The International Crisis Group, ICG, report that negotiations stand little chance to producing positive result if Karzai government continue to exclude its political opposition as well as civil society, ethnic groups, and women. The report goes on, a deal with Taliban alone will never be enough to secure the peace. Taliban do not enjoy support among Afghanistani citizens. More than 55% of Afghanistan population is women. The second category is youth. These two groups are completely against the Talibanization of Afghanistan. Sandigal said few Afghanistan women will decline to accept Karzai's approach to Taliban as reassuring. The stunning of women accused of adultery, the public execution in Kabul Stadium, and cutting off hands and other brutalities are fresh in people's minds. The closing of girls' schools and university faculties for forbidding women to go out is too recent to be forgotten or forgiven. The non-Pashtun, who seem to constitute the majority in Afghanistan, do not want the return of Taliban to power. They fear that Taliban will restart ethnic cleansing, violating women's rights in the name of sect and religion. Sandigal goes on and explains that Tajik, Uzbek, Hazara, and the rest will not accept a settlement which puts the Taliban back in power in any significant manner. Amrullah Saleh, the former head of Afghanistan's spy agency, is against any deal with the Taliban. He strongly argues that the settlement with the Taliban or giving a part of Afghanistan to Taliban will be dangerous, and the scenario of Hezbollah and South Lebanon will be repeated in Afghanistan. If you negotiate your enemy, That's fine. But don't pretend they are your brothers. They are not our brothers, they are our enemies. He goes on and said, we cannot slaughter democracy and justice for the sake of achieving a deceptive stability. Michael Petro also argues that there is little evidence that the Taliban are serious about peace. Why the reconciliation and reintegration is important for us as women's rights and human rights activists. According to Human Rights Report, Taliban policy of systematic discrimination against women seriously undermined the health and well-being of Afghanistani women, as she mentioned comprehensively. When Taliban came to power, they started to impose their Talibani tribal version of Islam on people. What the Taliban did during their regime was irrelevant to Islam. Mr. Kamals argues that the Taliban closed female education institutions and banned women from working outside of their home. Taliban authorities also banned music, TV, theater, cinema, kites, cards, and other activity as useless and time-wasting. They cut off hands of thieves and flogged gamblers and alcohol users. Taliban basically violated the human rights and women's rights during their dark regime, and they will repeat it again. Therefore, we are, as a human rights and women's rights activists, could not do anything effective about human rights in Afghanistan as we can do today. The negotiation process itself is an impediment for the human rights activists. Therefore, we have to do whatever we can to stop this deceptive reconciliation by any means necessary. The premature withdrawal of coalition forces in Afghanistan will aggravate the situation and will open a space for Taliban to maneuver. Simultaneously, it will give an opportunity to relevant terrorist groups to exercise their radical activities. American and international community should focus on institution building, civil society, women's rights, and vibrant governance. Ashley J. Taylor pointed out, only a serious long-term commitment to building an effective Afghanistan state and invest in endorsed strategy will work. Conclusion. The White House thinks that a political settlement with the Taliban is only the solution in Afghanistan. From Afghanistan perspective, it is a misconception. It's a misconception, judgment, and shallow decision. They will repeat the same mistake as they did in 1990s. They left Afghanistan to the hand of Pakistan and other stakeholders, which catastrophically generate a spectrum of problems that shock the world. Without any doubt, this action will repeat the Western power back to the point they have started in the first place. It could be concluded that the history has repeated itself first as a strategy in 9/11 and will repeat itself in second time as a coup. Thank you very much.